Double-digit thousands.
Hey guys, it's Chief Barbarian here, and today we are wrapping up the last video in our series for new players, where we talk about Overwatch classes. In this video, we will rank the defense characters, and then pick the best one for a new player to use. Okay, so far we've talked about tanks, support, and offense heroes. But really, what more could the game need? Well, Blizzard decided that having the usual trinity of tank, healer, and DPS wasn't enough for Overwatch. Why? Because Overwatch is divided into two teams and each team has a different role. Team A is the attacking team. It's their job to secure either 2 points or the first point or deliver a payload. Team B has the job of keeping Team A away from the points, and if they take the first point, then their job becomes stopping the payload. This leaves the option for two different types of tactics that are the basis of early gameplay. Attacking characters all have one important factor in common: mobility. All of the offense characters have an ability that increases their mobility. Soldier can sprint, Tracer can dash, Genji is like a cyborg pogo stick, Pharah has a jetpack, Reaper can teleport, and Samurai can sprint faster than Soldier when she's invisible. Even McCree, the slowest of the offense heroes, can perform a combat role. So, for the most part, they're all designed to move quickly and overwhelm the defending team. Defense, on the other hand, has a different job entirely. Instead of trying to quickly overwhelm their opponents, they are designed to hold choke points. Bastion becomes a stationary turret in order to use his Gatling turret. Hanzo isn't slow, but his movement is reduced greatly when drawing his bow. The same applies for Widowmaker when she's aiming down her scope. Her range of movement is limited. Torbjorn is quick moving, especially for a dwarf. His primary reason for existing is to place turrets, and his turrets can't move. Mei is designed around isolating the enemy, splitting them up, and slowing them down. Junkrat also has special area denial skills. He can fill a particular room with so many grenades that most sane players would try to take a different route. In other words, speed is not necessary, but the skills to stop attackers in their speedy tracks are essential. So who are the defense heroes? Let's introduce them. First up, we have Bastion. Bastion is a sentient robot explorer who loves nature, loves animals, is fascinated with life, and turning into a Gatling gun and exploding your face if you try to hurt him or his friends. He's a walking contradiction. Next up, we have Hanzo. He's the brother of the cyborg ninja, which must really suck at parties because everyone introduces him as the brother of the cyborg ninja. Oh right, he's handy with a bow and has pointy ears. So he's kinda like a grumpy version of Legolas. Next we have Junkrat, an Australian anarchist and lunatic. Sorta like Mel Gibson, but less of a lunatic. It's almost as if Blizzard said, what weapons and abilities do people hate most about Call of Duty, and then put them all in one character. Next up we have Saiyan. Wait, the script can't be right here. Someone scratched out her real name and wrote Saiyan over it. Oh right, next up we have Mei, who is literally Satan. It's almost as if Blizzard said, what did Call of Duty forget to add to their game that would have made players really angry? Oh right, they could have given players an ice gun that freezes their targets in place like a human popsicle so they can watch themselves die and get shot in the face without being able to do anything about it. Okay, I'm calm. Then we have Toblerone, IKEA. Oh, just forget it. We'll call him Torb. For the last time, he's a Swedish engineer who likes drinking molten steel and screaming about some strange place called Molten Core. Lastly, we have Widowmaker, who is a French sniper and assassin. Blizzard made up some story about training her to hold her breath so long that her skin turned blue. But let's face it, she's a dark elf imported straight from Warcraft. I mean, why make up a story when you have a literal dwarf running around yelling Molten Core? We get it, Blizzard. World of Warcraft subscriptions are dropping, so gotta plant those nostalgia clues anywhere you can. As we always say, when you're just starting out playing Overwatch, the temptation is very high to pick a player based on their looks. However, we ask you to take a step back and think about this a little more. The defense heroes have 3 characters with an extremely high skill cap, and 3 more characters with a low skill cap, but not much in between. So how do we rank these characters from easiest to hardest? Well, let's talk about that now. The easiest defense hero is Bastion. Ding, ding, ding. Bastion is the easiest defense hero for a couple of reasons. First off, there's not much to do on him. He either turns into a turret and shoots people or heals himself. It's not that complicated. Shoot people in the face with your Gatling cannon and then heal yourself when you're hurt. There's only 2 things to remember. Next easiest character is Torbjorn. His main job in Overwatch is to place his turrets in hard to kill places, but places where they can still damage enemy players. When the game first came out, this was easy and Tor players were hated. Over time, however, players learned how to kill the turrets and memorized all the good spots to hide them. So now, the hardest part is finding new creative spots to place the turrets and keep the enemy guessing. The third easiest character is Junkrat. The reason why we place Junkrat in 3rd place is because his gun doesn't take exceptional aim for a beginner. It's essentially a grenade launcher, and anyone familiar with FPS games will understand how to use it. Even a brand new Junkrat player can destroy a Reinhardt's shield or lob grenades through a choke point and keep players from wanting to go that direction. However, he is a bit harder than Bastion and Tor because he has 2 abilities that are awesome, but take some getting used to, such as his steel trap. He can also toss a mine that he can use on himself to make high jumps or use on his enemies to cause a lot of damage. After Junkrat, we have Mei. This is where the skill cap starts going way up on the defense heroes. First off, her primary attack takes a bit of getting used to. When you click to shoot her icicle gun, it takes some time to charge up and then it shoots, so aiming is not very easy for a beginner. Then she has one of the best defense abilities in the game, which is her ice wall. However, just like her gun, getting to know when and how to use it properly is difficult. It's best to see how other players do it before jumping into her right away. The next 2 defense heroes are not only some of the hardest defense heroes to master, but also some of the hardest heroes in the game. The first of these is Widowmaker. Hundreds of people play Widowmaker, but very few play her well. Remember how earlier we said that almost all offense heroes have high mobility? Well, now you have to snipe a field full of characters that not only have high mobility, but many characters on the enemy team have some form of shield, from Reinhardt to D.Va to Zarya. So finding good shots on enemy characters is not always easy. Also, not to mention, people hate playing against Widowmaker so much that they will often swap characters just to kill her. Widowmaker is very rewarding to play, but takes a lot of training to master. Lastly, we arguably have one of the most difficult characters to play in the entire game. While we still believe that Genji holds the #1 spot for several reasons, Hanzo is not too far behind. Unlike Widowmaker, who has a hit scan sniper rifle, Hanzo's bow is not hit scan. If you think it's difficult to snipe with Widowmaker, then take that difficulty and turn it up to 11 with Hanzo. A good Hanzo player can make the enemy team cry. A master Hanzo player can shut an enemy team down. Even Hanzo's ultimate is difficult to use since everyone in the match, and even some guy playing Call of Duty in the next room, can hear it coming. It's extremely easy to dodge, so finding ways to make it unpredictable and getting kills with it takes a lot of map knowledge and skill. Okay, so we ranked the defense heroes from easiest to hardest. However, which hero do we recommend for a beginner? Our recommendation here at FufiWatch is Junkrat. Sure, Bastion is easier, but he's also easier to counter. Players on the enemy team really hate Bastion, and the entire team will focus on killing him until he's dead. Sitting in the spawn room is not a good way to have fun in Overwatch, so we don't recommend him for beginners. And Torb is technically easier than Junkrat, but like we said earlier, it takes some very creative turret placement to get kills with Torb now that the game has been out for a long time. This is not knowledge that a new player will have. You need to spend some time learning the maps really well before you'll have that aha moment when you know exactly the right spot to surprise people with a Torb turret. Junkrat, however, has several different things going for him that make him a great defense hero for a new player. First off, his aiming skills don't have to be that high. In fact, one of the things he'll yell every once in a while when he gets a kill is aiming is overrated. Lobbing grenades in the general area of the bad guy is usually enough to hit them either directly or with splash damage, while you get the hang of his gun. Next, he has a trap which can root an enemy player in place for a couple of seconds, and being rooted in Overwatch is as good as being dead. Lastly, the mine he can toss around is extremely useful in ways that you'll learn over time. It can be used to get to places you can't jump to, or used to knock an enemy back away from you when they get too close. Anyhow, that's our take on all the defense heroes. Leave a comment down below, like this video if you think it's a good one, and we'll see you in game. Bye bye!